Welcome back from that first interview with the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Okello, which was quite educative about the late Archbishop Janan Luomo. But of course, now in our second interview, we still be looking at the issue of what one would call work slavery or trafficking, and still, of course, our friends, our sisters, and our brothers who work abroad. Now, on set, still I'm joined by Robert, my usual suspect. And of course, today we also have Ash once again. You're welcome.
Thank you.
It's good to have you again.
Thank you.
And Robert calls you a Benacho. But
no, is she going to bury her even?
Rita, you're welcome. It's good
you.
to see you.
Good
It's
to
been
see
quite
you
a
too.
time.
I love her dressed
Really?
in black. Eh?
Yes, she does look beautiful. She looks very, very beautiful, I must say. Well, of course, every time we have a chance to speak to Ashi here, he has a lot of answers to give us, and there's so many questions for him to be asked.
Yeah.
Just last week, there was a report in the papers, if you remember well, Rita, that also went for, I think it was in the New Vision.
Yeah, no, it was in the Monitor.
It was in the Daily
Yes,
Monitor,
it was the Daily Monitor. And these questions keep coming. They keep coming again and again and again. Even with all the effort you're putting in, and we must acknowledge that you're doing so much when you come out to try and regulate the industry, to try and give shape to the industry. But the challenges are still quite profound, we must say. And just to start this discussion, I'll ask you, Ashi, that what pieces are you not putting together? Where are the loopholes?
Right. Thank you so much, Felix. The truth is that sensitization is where we haven't been very good.
Okay.
Because if you look at the case of those two young ladies in Oman, you realize that if they had the knowledge about what they're supposed to do, i.e., go to the right companies, visit our Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development to get this information, then we wouldn't be talking about them right now. But you realize that they were trafficked in the name or in the disguise of having safe jobs and all that stuff. But truth of the matter is that we need to push more. To answer your question, Felix, we need to push more with the sensitization of the public. I think as an association, that's where we haven't been very good.
Because one then will ask Ashi that I think this should be, because there should be no gaps left and untightened. And the reason is this, that every time we try we fail to be proactive. We are putting the risk of the professionalism, the kind of job you guys do, and it seems to be smeared all in some sort of semblance of being a fraud and what. Actually, at some point, people have attributed people who export labor as being the greatest abuse of human rights. You have heard this, I think,
Yes.
very many a times. But what is being done? Let us also look at that.
Right.
What is being done? Because the last time we had a discussion, I remember you said to us that you have what we call recovery methods.
Right.
In the event that such happens, there's something that you can do as an association. You've put up a desk and all this. If you don't mind, let us revisit that particular concept for our viewers also to understand.
Right.
There could be relatives of the people who are suffering down there. We have had very people write to us after the show that there are people down there and all. So it's important that you take us through the drills.
Okay.
What do people do? After all this done, what do we do?
Right.
Do you have a mechanism of rehabilitation and all this?
Right. Thank you so much, Felix, for that question once again. First of all, I need to elaborate on the process, how we go through a selection of these candidates. We, first of all, get job orders from these companies abroad. These job orders are vetted by our Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development. Once they're convinced that these jobs actually exist and they are safe for our people, then we are allowed to advertise to the public on, So whoever is interested in these jobs, they come to our various offices, then we take them through what is available. They go through interviews. Once we are convinced that they're up to the job, then they go for vetting by the various security agencies, i.e. ISO, ESO, CMI, and CID. But remember, we also require, the candidates are also required to bring in their Interpol or certificate of good conduct from, from our Interpol department here in Uganda. Then after that, after all that is done, then the ministry issues a clearance that allows us to have these people deployed in the various countries. But for the young ladies in particular, i.e. domestic workers, we have an extra mile we go. And that extra mile involves having them on an online system called Mosaned, where the government of Saudi Arabia, for example, in Saudi Arabia's case, monitors. The government of Uganda, that's under our Ministry of Labour, monitors. Then, as the companies as well, the company here in Uganda and the company in Saudi Arabia, we all go through that monitoring of this candidate from the time they've been confirmed for this particular job. Then, once they are ready to be deployed, we have a labour liaison officer at our embassy in Saudi Arabia whose main task is to focus on making sure that the welfare of these young ladies is catered for. But as I said last time, we also have supervisors that sit in these offices in Saudi Arabia, for example. Their job is to make sure that they handle any queries. But once they are so big and they can't handle them, then they escalated to the labour liaison officer. The labour liaison officer under the embassy, of course, as you know, once anyone hears or receives a call from the embassy, that's a big thing. So these clients know. And when we in our partnership with our companies there, we sensitize them. Remember, there is a contract, a 4-tier contract, where they sign as sponsors, the final hosts of these young ladies. Then in Uganda as well, for example, myself as the MD, I need to sign on all those contracts. Then we also have the company in Saudi Arabia, the MD signs, then the girl herself. But before the girl signs this contract, we make sure that we invite her and her next of kin and the parents, and we take them through these contracts. Remember, these contracts were agreed upon by the two governments, Saudi Arabia, for example, and Uganda. The reason why we sensitize them on these contracts, to ensure that they fully understand what they're getting into. In case there are problems, what do you do? And all these clauses are very, very clear. Remember, all these clauses were actually agreed upon by the two governments. So the welfare already on paper is catered for, but we go an extra mile of monitoring these people to make sure that we...
Robert doesn't seem to believe any of the things you're saying.
I was listening
Robert,
to him and watching
to hear
him
a fairy tale.
tell a lovely story.
Exactly, like they're building castles in there.
Actually, he's a good public relations person.
Yes.
If he's to get that job anywhere, Mr. MDO, very, very good.
Yes, Robert.
The truth is, it needs to be told.
Right.
One, in your initial statement, you said that we have information ready. The truth is, there isn't an easily accessible place. As a journalist, I've tried to find out how easy is it for a girl going to these countries to be a domestic worker to get this information. We have the Ministry of Gender.
What information are you talking about, Robert?
The information to know that if this is the right company. Because most of these cases that are happening are not coming from genuine companies.
Exactly.
They're coming from people who did not go through the right company.
Speaking from a point of the legitimate company.
The legitimate. Now,
yet there are also
the challenge is, for example, the two cases is evident. You can only take domestic workers to Saudi Arabia and the Kingdom of Jordan. These girls were in Oman. Which clearly shows Uganda has no agreement, bilateral agreement of understanding, to cater for domestic workers in those countries. Therefore, even tracking where they are, helping them come back, is next to impossible. If that happen. So that means that they didn't have the information. So to tell
the availability of information.
To tell an ordinary girl By the time a person leaves their motherland to go and do domestic work, let's understand who this person is. That come from wherever you're coming from, go to Ministry of Labor, Gender and Social Development, go to the front desk, look for this office, you know, get this information. That is next to impossible. It's not very, it's not very easy.
But again,
I just want to drive my point home. And when you tell them to go to the business community, to give them this information, afraid to do research. First, he has the job contracts. He wants to take people. That's why they advertise on TV every now and then. Because I need people. They are trading people. That is the business. They are trading people. That is it. What do you deliver? You don't deliver anymore.
It's okay.
So, at the end of the day, what I need, the raw material is coming. So for me to sit right and say that my friend this and all this. So as you, the body, because it's tarnishing your business, what plans have you made yourself available, a central place where it is easily accessible, even a light information, even a light office at any park or what, for a person to easily come and get this information.
Well, actually, when you talk about that, I think it is actually even very important for the sensitization drive to even go beyond what you are actually doing. Yes, of course, there's genuine companies, but there are those companies that actually are selling, you know, Ugandans, probably maybe which are actually tainting your image in a totally different way.
Company. This girl from Nakasongola saw an advert on TV, had a friend tell her I've been working as a maid for 2 years, now I'm building my house.
Actually,
and those are the same people who actually come and go through Rwanda, Kenya, and all that. They don't really understand that they're supposed to go through Uganda.
Maybe we need to do more in terms of availability of information. And at all levels, both formal levels and informal levels, because the biggest pool of your labor is perhaps informal level. And how... What are we really doing about this? That should be the question. And or what plans do we have? Because you have been challenged over time by what you want to call unregistered people, but why are they even there? That would be the question.
Thank you so much for your questions, Robert and Felix. Now, it's true, we've had a gap of sensitization. And I'll give you a very good example. We've had cases where district officials don't actually know the difference between a genuine company and it's a very, very sound question, and I fully agree with you. But what we did from last year, we worked with our Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development and introduced what we call a symposium. This symposium was a 2-day, it was a 1-day event, the first one of its kind we had. We were at Hotel Africana. We invited all district officials from all the districts of Uganda. That is the main point we wanted was to sensitize them. Once the district officials are sensitized, then they should be able...
Sensitize the people.
Yes. And what we did also, we made sure that they're in touch with the district labor officers who the ministry sends this updated list of registered companies. But as you know, as an association, as stakeholders in this industry, the biggest basically stakeholders of this sector, it's true we need to push more, and that's why we're in your faces now. As the board of the Uganda Association of External Recruitment Agencies, we've sat down and devised a better way of approaching this. And as we speak now, we have other members of the board, different media houses, doing exactly what we are doing, answering these questions, sensitizing the public. And indeed, as Robert, you pointed out, we realize as well that most of our young Ugandans, they don't know where to find this information. That is why we said, okay, go to your district internal security officers, they have this information. Go to your district chairman, they have, or chairpersons, they have this information. But once you fail to get that information, then the district labor officer should have this information because it comes from his line ministry. And that's what we are doing right now. We are on radios, we are everywhere. We're trying to sensitize the public to fully understand that you do not have to be conned by people you just met, but go visit these district offices, talk to, if you're in Kampala, Ministry of Gender Labor is just behind CPS. Go and seek this information, and these guys are ready to talk to you. We have to give you this information. And another thing as well, we are now focusing on border towns as well, because for example, we had a problem with many traffickers in Mbale, Busia, Malaba, and people used to go. So we said, no, let's meet these district officials, let us meet the LC1s, 2, 3s and stuff. Remember, actually these guys, when they are going through the vetting process, it's these same district people who stamp on their paperwork.
In fact, I was going to ask, do
Yes.
you require accreditation?
We do that.
From LC1?
We do that. But remember before, they used to just, without even knowing, without knowing, is this company genuine?
But let me ask you a question.
Right.
What do they stamp on? Because also we need to be clear. Is it a letter from that you give them that please go and get, like how we normally apply for
Yes.
passports that
Right.
go to LC what? Is it a form you give or they write something to you?
No, there is a form we give them to verify who they are.
And it explains everything and what they are going to do and that sort of thing.
It talks about, actually our main focus, we look at who this person is. We need the biodata, then also mention, we just mention the kind of job they're going to do. That's what we do. But for more information, what we've done now, even our regional offices, we give them all this information to make sure they share it with their district officials, to make sure that they understand the contract, they understand what they're going to do and why they're going to do that. That's why I also said, last time if you remember, we've also introduced a pre-departure training. We take them through what is expected of them.
Kind of life they're going
Yes, and then once someone feels, maybe it's not the kind of thing, they are very free to drop out.
Actually, I just beg to, at that very particular moment, one of the problems that we've seen happen to these girls is because they reach there and they are not prepared.
Exactly.
You're talking about the pre-departure training.
Yes.
But, you know, this is what it should be.
Right.
But we've even spoken to some of the girls and they don't receive this pre-departure training because it is costly. I was speaking to one of the people that has this company and told me, Robert, I don't do it. You take them to some center where they're trained something and you pay some money for that pre, or it is in-house.
Wow. Actually, Robert, that's a very good question. And I must make this categorically clear. These training centers were accredited by the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, so you don't just find any.
Yeah, that is why I think he told me that, Robert, I have contracts.
Right.
I must deliver girls. These are the words he was using.
Right.
Robert, I have contracts. I've gone on TV, I've advertised.
Right.
The girls have come. I have a time frame to deliver them to the other company because you're brokers. You're not the final consumers, yes?
No, really.
So this person has to deliver these girls, an additional cost, and this is reality. We need to save this nation and save our brothers and sisters that are suffering. So they don't go for this training because it is not in-house. That me who has a company I'm training, but I have to pay for every girl I take there. There is a cost. So that's why some girls end up missing this. And yet when they reach there, they can't fit, then they end up being beaten, tortured. How do we overcome this?
Okay, Robert, let me first of all explain to you how this process works. First of all, the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development does not issue any clearance to any candidate who has not been trained. And it's the training centers that submit these returns to the ministry. So once you do not, and actually it doesn't mean that because you've been trained, you automatically go. No. Some of them fail and they can't qualify for this work. So we say, sorry, but you have to try another time until you get it right. So whoever you spoke to and told you that, I'm interested in knowing that company and that person, because I want to know how does he get around this. Unless he's telling us that even at in the ministry, there are people who are corrupt, who is working with. Because the system is very clear. The ministry put out very clear regulations. And getting around them, I'm really interested in how he does it. Because
well, actually now, for example, I'll give an example. Uganda Sports Press Association, an umbrella body for, sports journalists.
Right.
In most cases, even when a non-WUSPA member gets a problem, we actually run to them.
Right.
We have actually had different cases. For example, there is a video trending that I was actually telling you about. I mean, this Arab actually trying to poo in someone's mouth. I mean,
terrible,
you know,
terrible,
it was actually a very terrible video. And of course, lots of them are viral. But now, if we actually understand that there is a problem, and there is a problem here in this particular area, how does this association help some of these girls who are actually trafficked in certain countries, probably maybe even if it wasn't through the right channels? How do you come in to help?
Okay, thank you so much, Rita, for that question. First of all, as an association, we realized that there was this very big problem, and we established a reception center in Entebbe. That reception center receives anyone who has been working abroad and they found themselves in distress, in, you know, all these very terrible conditions. We have a counselor and her team, and we've also attached a medical center that takes care of these people.
Okay.
They don't have
at a cost.
Sorry?
At a cost?
No.
Okay.
It's us as an association that pay for all these cases. The reason why we are doing that is that that gives us an opportunity as well to rehabilitate these young people, but also take them through. After they're okay, by the way, we get very surprised. Some of them, once you take them through that rehabilitation process, they want to go back, but in the right channels. So what we tell them, this is the actual way to do it if you're still interested in going back abroad, but in the right channels, then you can as well go. But if you feel that is it, it's okay. Get you through that rehabilitation program. We have it there at the reception center. After that, after they've healed and, you know, everything is okay, then
now the biggest challenge, Ash, would be actually getting back to Uganda.
Yes, and that's where I was coming to explain, Felix. Now we've also remember in countries like Oman, we do not have an embassy there.
Yes,
so
that's true.
Oman is actually under the embassy of Saudi Arabia. Yes, so already talks are between the two countries. And actually, what the ministry is trying to do is how do we, because I may give you statistics. Last year we did a research with the Ministry of General and Labour, Social Development, and we realized that there are actually over 30,000 Ugandans in Oman.
Imagine.
Now, as a country, we can't say, no, you know what, you took yourselves there, you're trafficked there, we don't care about you.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
What actually now we are doing is to agitate for a bilateral between Oman and Uganda. Once we have that in place, we put our conditions as a country. Our people are supposed to be treated this way, they're supposed to be, you know, just like how we've done with Saudi Arabia and Jordan. Then we have a proper system in place to locate all these people. Because once the information goes out and these people come out, then we know. Because right now, I may tell you this, we actually don't know how many and where they are.
Yeah.
We don't know how many. The information we got was from people that have returned from these countries.
Speculative.
So, exactly. And you know, speculative figures. But what I urge Ugandans to do is that as a country, this concerns all of us. It's not just Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, or these companies. We have to come together and fight human trafficking. It's a very big scourge that we need to handle heads on. If we do not do that, we are losing many young lives, many would-be productive lives, and secondly, it does not give a very good image for our country. So let us all get together, go through the right channels. Once we go through the right channels, then we should be able to grow as a country, be more productive out there. But it's a very, very big problem, and indeed, we are very challenged as an association to see how best can we do that. But the beauty of things is that we have a very good relationship with our regulator, who is willing to do anything.
Yeah, to see things come back.
Right now, by the way, as we speak, and I shouldn't be giving you this information, but I will give it to you.
You've already given
The ministry, this week, I think today or tomorrow, they are on a fact-finding mission in one of the countries, I won't mention the country, that has been externalizing labor for the last 40 years. So they've gone to see what can they learn from this particular country that will help our people as well. Yeah. So the ministry is doing its best. Even us as private sector, we're also doing our best.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, I will take a very short break. Very short break. When we come back, we'll try to understand how we get forward from this particular situation of human trafficking, and of course, what people have termed as torture for our honor girls. I've not had very many cases of men, but let us take the break.
My name is Rodings Musade, coming from Kasese district, and I'm so much excited and very happy for having been a weekly winner of 10 million with Airtel money. I used to dial star 185 to buy bundles, pay school fees, and I'm proud to be among the lucky winners. I'm proud and I'm promising to be with Airtel forever. So I'm going to invest like in cattle keeping. I'm going to buy some heads of cattle. I buy some motorbike.
Dial star 185 hash. Transact on Airtel money. Winners will be called using 0752 600 222. Terms and conditions apply.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Well, thank you so much for staying with us here at UBC, and it's Good Morning Uganda. Now we're looking at labor export. It has been a very big contributor to this economy, and actually at some point even the Minister and His Excellency acknowledged that there's been so much revenue coming in, and the numbers have increased drastically. But also, of course, with such increase of numbers, you have seen increase in challenges. Right. Yes. But there's something that we would want to know. When we have seen so much inhuman acts being done to Ugandan girls, so many videos, I think Rita has just mentioned one. There's a video where we saw girls crying, saying the Ugandan guys are not helping us, we are dying here, some are being beaten, some die. Is there any way or mechanism that the people, the offenders, are brought to book? Right. Do you ever get a chance to take criminal action? Have we seen cases? Have we seen people being reprimanded? Or what happens? People just brought back to Uganda, then take another, then bring back?
Yes, I've actually never heard of any person who has actually been reprimanded. I've never heard about that.
Right. Okay, first of all, the videos you're talking about, I've personally seen them as well. Yeah. But as I said earlier, most of those videos come from areas where we're not physically on ground. As government, as an association as well, private sector, because we don't have bilaterals with those particular countries. Yeah. So what we're doing now is to say, Ugandans, fellow Ugandans, do us a favor and do yourselves a favor, go through the right channels. People who have been trafficked, and I'll give you a very good example. I met there were 3 Nigerian girls last month. I was on my way to Saudi Arabia, in Dubai, at the Dubai airport, and they were a bit confused because they were trying to locate their flight on the screen, and so they asked me to help them. I didn't know they were going to Oman, so when I approached them. So when they approached me, I said, "Oh, so where are you going?" They said, "No, we're going to Oman, Muscat." I'm like, "You're going to Oman? What are you going to do there?" I picked interest because that name only, I knew that there was a problem. So they told us, "No, we're going to work." I say, which kind of job are you going to do there? are domestic work. Remember, these are Nigerian girls. So I said to them, so how did you get these jobs? I picked interest. Oh no, there is an agent. Oh, my heart sank because I knew
there was something wrong.
I tried my best to talk them out of this. But remember, they're already in transit. So there is only one way. Now, how does the government of Nigeria help such young people? How? It's the same thing we have, unless we know. And remember our system in place. If you go through the right channels, we know who you are, we know where you're going. In case of something, we can track and actually take the necessary measures to make sure that you are in good condition. But once you go by yourself, because most of these young ladies, for example in Uganda, they go through Malaba, they go through Busia. We don't know. Remember, our borders are porous. And remember, with now the East African integration as well, no one is going to stop you at the border asking where you're going. You just cross over. Remember, these traffickers, they're very, very, very smart people. Reach the border, cross over, walk about 1 kilometer or 2, you meet us there, jump in the car.
Imagine.
That is it. So it's a very, very difficult thing, unless Ugandans actually understand that it's risky to your life. It's a very, very, very horrendous mistake to go through wrong channels. Yes, we want, our process is a bit lengthy, maybe 1.5 months or 2, but you rather be patient, go through the right channels, and then risk leaving the country within a week or 2, because these guys are very good. You want to go through a company, you're going to spend here 2 months. But if you go through me, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 days. Once you have a passport, we are out of here. So that is where the problem is. But on the other hand as well, it's true, it's a very difficult thing to know where these videos, apart from the reason why we are able to tell, because we know particular places. But you can't track that person because you don't know who they are. You don't know who they are.
Unless they've identified and said, this and this, my name is so-and-so,
exactly.
in this place,
exactly.
in this house, on this flat.
Yes. So that is why our government, through the ministry and our embassies, that is Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they're trying to engage these particular countries where most of these abuses are from. Because remember, we have Ugandan girls who have returned home from Oman, and they tell you, for example, in our reception center, where is about 3 weeks ago, we received a case where this girl was burnt from head to toe. Burnt.
From Oman?
Yes. So we check her into our medical center. What now surprised us, because of course we get information from them. We want to find out who took you, where did you meet them, so that we track them and arrest them using our anti-human trafficking department at the Ministry of Internal Affairs. So we check this girl into this medical center, our medical center, as I told you. Then in the morning we are surprised the girl is the girl has disappeared. So we're actually investigating a case, and we've taken on these medical staff who on duty to explain to us how this young lady left the medical center. So it shows you that these guys actually not that easy. So they know, they follow, they are within us. They know what we're trying to do, and they're trying to find countermeasures. So it's a very, very difficult thing, but I urge Ugandans, we work together and fight these people.
Okay, now lastly, I'll listen from you still, Ashi.
Right.
I would want you to do you have a toll-free number for this center in case we have people who have issues, people who have cases? I can tell you, you'll get 1 million calls in just a day. Maybe they will help you understand about these fake companies. People out there know the people who traffic people. I'll tell you. So is there any way they can get you a WhatsApp number, a toll-free number, an email? How do people get to the association? Or where are your offices and all this? Please give our viewers the information.
Okay, fellow Ugandans out there, our association offices are located on BMK House, Level 4, Room 402. BMK House is next to Hotel Africana. I know most Ugandans know where Hotel Africana is, on Wampeo Avenue. Please check yourself there, and then you'll be helped. But also, what I'm going to do, Felix, I'm going to leave you with the number. Viewers, unfortunately, I can't. I need to make sure that I didn't carry my phone with me because we are on air. Yeah. But once we are off air, I'll give you those numbers, and then yes, and kindly you share those numbers.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, that's okay. Now, we must say thank you so much for the efforts as an association, of course, and again and again, we do appreciate your contribution to the industry, and we still do appreciate the creation of jobs. It is very important because with the current situation of unemployment in Uganda, there has been very much that you have done as an association. And of course, our viewers out there and people, parents, please be very careful when you go into these particular ventures. As he said, it may take time, but it's better with time than actually losing lives or people facing sickness or deformations and all this. But we must say we have also come to the end of our GMU agenda. We will now take a break and we come with our quote for today, and later Ruben will come on with sports. Good morning.